This look at you moment is incredible because it involves a whole family, and it happens to be part of my family, to tell you the truth. But it's awesome, and it starts right here with Erin. And Erin has spent most of her life not knowing exactly where she was as far as siblings go. So tell me a little bit about what you grew up with, Erin.
Well, I knew I was adopted when I was 1 year old, and I had no idea that I had any brothers or sisters, to be honest with you, until just recently.
Recently. And that's where Mackenzie comes in, who we didn't know, but happens to be her niece. So this is very cool. Mackenzie, tell us what you found out here. What happened here?
Well, I've always been really interested in ancestry and where I come from, and so I did one of the tests for DNA that's become really popular recently, where you send in your DNA to a company, and then they tell you about your origins, and that's really all I was hoping for.
You knew there was a missing aunt somewhere.
I did, but never did I ever think that sending in my DNA would ever,
I never thought we'd find
that we'd
each
have
other
the
at all.
missing link for the long lost aunt.
So you had a hint that this might be the missing aunt, and you guys kind of hooked up, and then it was like, oh my goodness, I think this is the sister of all of these siblings right here, 2 brothers and 2 sisters, who they grew up together for several years, and then they got separated. They got kind of pushed off into foster homes and other adoptive situations. So it all kind of came back to Mackenzie figuring out that, wait a minute, we got something going on here. Tell us a little bit about when you discovered then what was going on.
Once you send in your DNA, they put your DNA in a system, and you get a bunch of different matches of other people you may or may not know that are related to you. And I was in the system for a year before one morning I received an email message through the system, and the email message said, "I'm so excited, I found a cousin. I was adopted, and I don't know very much about my family. All I know is that my mother was Irish and my father was German, and that's all I know."
And then the light went off.
I had to think about it for a second. I said, well, there could really only be one possibility for this, and that would be my dad's long lost sister.
Okay, so then you come in, Norm, and you're like, my goodness, I think this is it. This is our long lost sister, this beautiful woman over here. So you emailed her, right?
Well, the first thing I did was absorb what Mackenzie told me, and it seemed really plausible. So the very next morning, on my way down to see my son, I gave Erin a call, and I said hi, and she said hi, and I said, hey, I'm Norm, and we started chatting, and everything she talked about seemed very plausible to me. I go, yes, this has got to be her, this has got to be her. So then I asked her one question that only I knew the answer to, and I said, when's your birthday? She told me January 11th, 1966. I said, yeah, it's got to be you. So for my birthday, my daughter and my son buy me a DNA kit to verify. So I took the DNA test, sent it in to Ancestry, got the results back, and bang, immediately I went to the top of her list as a sibling.
So this is so cool because what it comes down to is it's a family wedding, and this is the first time that this sibling has met all of her siblings over here. So I got to ask then, you guys, what is this like? Diane, what is it like to be looking over here and see, I have another sister?
Well, I was so excited because when Norm called me and said, sit down, you're not going to believe this, listen, he says, we found Molly. And I said, you have got to be kidding.
She was born, when she was born, her name was Molly. And they were separated after only a few weeks after Molly. A few days after Molly was born. But then when she was adopted, her name turned into Erin. So as far as they knew, this was the missing Molly sister.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty exciting. Pretty exciting.
Bill, your thoughts on this? Looking over here at Molly Erin?
It's incredible. We still tend to want to call her Molly.
And I answer to that.
Yeah.
We remember seeing her sitting on the couch. She had a full black head of hair, and there was 2 or 3 social workers there, and then she just vanished. And our mother from Belfast, for years,
Ireland.
continued to ask us, try to give us clues to try and find her. And
all our lives, when we got together, you know, we always said, gosh, we often wonder what happened to Molly. And then when we see my mother would always say, you gotta find her, you gotta find her. And of course, we didn't know what to do
Yeah,
until, you know, Ancestry came along and
awesome,
really made
We didn't know where to
easy.
start.
awesome. So then, and Isla, your thoughts on this? Looking at now, you have two sisters. You had your beautiful one sister. Now you have two.
I don't have to pray every night. In my prayers, sometimes I would pray that please take care of Molly, find Molly. And so here we are.
So it's wonderful.
Very
so it's
delighted.
a wedding that
Very
they all
happy.
come together, and Molly Aaron
Yeah.
is crying. So,
I know, I'm
yeah.
trying not to.
So your thoughts? Then you're at a family wedding, and you feel like part of the family.
I do, this is amazing. I don't know what to say.
I saw her for the first time yesterday, and I walked up to her in the bar, and I said, long time no see.
How awesome is that? So I think we need a few hugs then. So
Yes.
yeah, go for
We've
it.
been hugging.
Yeah.
We've been hugging all week.
I know.
We've been doing lots of hugging.
I know we
Oh
have.
my goodness.
I'm sorry it took so long.
And Erin was at a tough time in her life anyway because her adoptive parents had recently passed away. And she's divorced, so she was feeling a little bit alone. So that's why she even went onto this Ancestry.com to look for people who were part of her family and part of her world. So how about that, Ancestry? Ancestry.com, right? Coming through. So talk about a look at you moment for an entire family. Just love that. Thanks so much for clicking in. If you know someone who deserves to be here on our Look at You moment, please let me know through my email here on my website or on any of my social media. Thanks so much for clicking in. Take care.